I want you to protect yourself at all times, obey my commands at all times. Fight hard, but fight clean. If you want to touch gloves, touch them now. Good luck. Champion against champion. Here we go.
Hello and welcome to First Strike. This is the second episode we're recording today. It feels beautiful getting out of college. I'm Christian.
Yeah. I'm Jesse.
I'm Lou. And I'm Chris.
And let's get to it. We're going to talk about just recent news that's going on. We would have hit this up last podcast, but we were just going over time, just talking about the last card.
Yeah,
so
and future.
We decided to devote some time to this. We're going to talk about some new topics, and we're going to introduce a segment called Red Corner, Blue Corner. We'll get into those details later, but let's just say it's like a debate, so stay tuned for that for sure. But let's get into our first topic. Holm getting her own division.
I know, essentially,
basically,
right? I mean,
Her own division, her wrong division.
Cyborg
deserved it, but she
being
completely
real.
turned down the two fights that
She did
Dana
a
White
complete
offered her.
180.
Talk about it.
I don't understand why Cyborg turned it down. You're gonna fight Holly Holm, who did have the belt against
Ronda.
held the belt, beat Ronda Rousey, lost to Miesha Tate. So I can understand why she didn't take the fight against Holly
Two-fight
Holm.
losing streak, too.
Yes. But Chris Cyborg, she was a 145 pound champion,
A monster.
a monster fighter.
Is a monster.
Still a monster.
She is.
And I don't know, if you're not willing to fight for a belt, which
she's been begging
she
for.
wanted for all along, against an opponent she doesn't want to fight, you know what I mean? So I don't get that. And now, ever since the Holly Holm is facing her opponent, I don't remember it off the top of my head, but the fight there, Chris Cyborg is completely against it. She's calling out Dana White. Oh, why would you do this to me? Blah 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 blah.
But
she's
she
the
passed
one
it
that
up,
turned
right?
down.
That's what
Twice.
Yeah,
That's
twice,
what
yes.
And it's Jermaine de Rondame.
I've never heard of her.
Neither
I
have
don't even
I.
know who that is.
Can
All
someone
right, so,
enlighten me?
so how do you get it essentially a championship title shot? I guess however you want to consider it, after coming off of 2 losses.
Yeah.
And 2, Chris Cyborg can't complain. And what's her stand-up weight?
170 pounds.
And then the feather. Oh God!
Who's
She
170?
Wow.
Oh, Chris
She's at
Cyborg?
my size.
I was trying to continue what I was gonna say, but
She
that's-
cuts a shit ton of weight.
And then this is for what, the featherweight division for
Yeah.
Yes.
woman. which is-
145 now.
So 30 pounds compared to what she dropped in 125.
140.
Okay. Yeah, so a reasonable amount of weight. I don't know why Chris Cyborg will pass it up and then complain. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Any sense to me.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna pull up information about this girl.
I find it often happens. You get like Jose Aldo who complains not fighting Conor, but he does get the opportunity.
Yep.
Even at 155 they offered him, but they still complain.
In March.
I feel, feel there are times where the UFC does people wrong. I feel like they did Khabib wrong
Yes.
during UFC 205. But I think most of the time they do look out for the fighters when
try.
it comes to the opportunities. And they gave her Holly Holm. Like,
That's a good
That's a
fight.
big
I
fight.
know, I was playing that shit on UFC too. Like, because I
Yeah.
thought that's a good matchup.
Yeah.
I really do think
Oh,
that's a
Cyborg's
good
in
match.
it?
I think
Yeah.
so.
Oh, wow, they updated her?
I
Cool.
think Cyborg would tear her up.
Oh, me.
Yeah.
Me too.
This girl, Jermaine de Rondame, her most notable name that she fought is Amanda Nunes.
And she won?
She lost. So just to put it into perspective, after that she fought
I mean, how'd she get a title
Larissa
fight?
Pacheco and Ana Elmos. So I don't know anybody about.
Yeah, I don't know.
Surprised they didn't
anything
give her
about
somebody
these
else.
people.
I don't know this girl.
Surprised they didn't call up Miesha Tate.
The division's growing.
Yeah.
You know, regardless of the records, there's going to be a champion.
She's
at the end of
6-3,
this.
by the way.
She's a come up. A new start.
Well, you know,
That's
I'm not going to
weird.
talk about the record anymore because Raquel Pennington beat the
Yeah, beat
Yeah.
the brakes.
brakes off of Miesha Tate.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to talk about their record. But when's that fight? Is it in February? Or-
It's on the 208 card in Barclays.
February.
Brooklyn.
that's cool.
That's
February
the
11th.
headliner right now.
That's cool. I like that the female division's growing. I like it.
You said headliner? That's
No,
pretty-
I think it's
thought you-
Max,
I thought you
bro.
said that's their headliner right
As
now.
of right now, yeah.
I think Max Holloway's gonna be
Hopefully
there.
that got to
Yeah,
change.
yeah.
That got to
But
change.
yeah,
I don't
Max
want to see.
Holloway will be there, no doubt. Max Holloway will be.
Or Habib
I
versus
mean-
Ferguson.
It's just Holly Holm been disappointing lately. I
on,
mean,
write that down.
was that Ronda win a fluke?
No. She completely
So
dominated
why is
Ronda.
she? What's wrong with her now? Like,
Well,
I don't know.
she was winning.
She
against
was
Miesha
beating
Tate.
Miesha
Let's
Tate,
not
yeah.
lie there.
Oh, that's
Miesha
true.
Tate
She was
caught-
barely winning. I feel like when people become champion, they don't want to lose, and that's how they fight. And I felt like
Yeah.
she was very conservative in her approach against Miesha in comparison to what she was against Ronda. And then the next fight, people are looking forward to see how she bounces back. and she just gets pinpointed. But she rocked Shevchenko in the beginning,
Yeah,
right?
yes, she did.
So she still has power. She definitely.
She did get completely dominated the rest of the fight.
She
though.
has.
Yeah,
She
got
has
boxed
to
up.
avoid becoming Anthony Pettis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
honestly,
hope
it also might have been a combination of Ronda just getting caught off guard, just caught up
I mean,
in all
that
these
kick came out of
movies.
nowhere.
And she might have just not had her whole mind on MMA.
She took a whole year off.
But down to the next topic, we got Brock Lesnar finally serving his suspension.
Thank God. He got fined $250,000. The fight is a no contest.
Oh, yeah?
Suspended for 1 year. He's not going to fight in the UFC ever again. Either way, in my opinion.
I think he'll show up again.
Really?
He might get.
Yeah.
He might
don't
get a
think
little.
so.
bit.
UFC, I don't know.
If he's still on drugs, I don't think so.
Oh, yeah.
He's so big. You know he's taking some steroids.
But
or something.
he is eligible to return. The way they did it is they did it suspended him from the day that it happened.
July?
Yeah.
So he
Same
is
thing with
scheduled.
John
He is
Jones'
scheduled to
suspension.
return in July.
Yeah,
He's not going to return.
He's got 6 months to get off the juice.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just stay in WWE.
It's a no contest.
He's a
now.
bigger character there.
He just lost to Goldberg.
And yeah, he got squashed by Goldberg nonetheless.
2 minutes. Who was that?
A minute and 30 seconds, I think it was.
That's
What? I'm
Big
sure-
wrestling
that makes no sense.
Yeah. I mean, that's for a different subject matter. But what do you think about that, Chris?
I'm not sure. Do you think the fine was enough? What did he get? What was his pay? Do we remember what his
Oh,
pay
Brock
was?
can afford that easy.
I know.
With his
but-
WWE money.
Got
too.
That
it for
fine
$2
is-
million.
That fine is substantial
Easily.
for a fighter.
Yeah,
It's
for a
not-
fighter.
Brock Lesnar's no ordinary fighter.
It's not. It's not like
Conor
the NBA
McGregor
players.
got fined $150,000 for throwing
I think
water
I think that's
bottles.
ridiculous too.
and he didn't pay
Of
that.
course.
But I
mean, he don't have to
I don't
pay
know
it,
how I
no.
feel about some of these. To me, steroid at this point it's so overused
joke.
that it's not even that big of a deal.
The UFC
What
deals with
basically
it all the time.
what basically happened is he might have got this no contest, but what you don't know is he took the L to USADA. That's all it was.
Yeah.
Another L.
He took a L.
USADA's undefeated.
They really
they
are
are
undefeated.
always-
Has anybody ever tried to
Got
go
past
against
USADA?
USADA and
Well,
John
Romero.
Jones, he's trying to get past USADA.
yeah, he's trying,
He's
but
still
he's
served
still
that.
scheduled
He's
to go
still-
back
yeah,
in July.
that's true.
I'm saying
Everyone-
anybody,
yeah, everyone-
like call USADA on
Successfully.
some.
I think Uro. He probably got the best escape. He only did 6 months, and
Yeah.
he still looks
Yeah,
fucking
that's
huge.
true.
He's
So he
jacked.
must be taking the same thing
He's
he was
jacked.
taking before.
You said who? You said?
UR Romero.
Okay.
He's still.
Did he
huge.
pass his last test? He must have.
Yeah,
Yeah, they would have
Friday?
announced it. by
Yeah,
now.
they would have announced it.
Yeah,
Thank God.
he's a jacked guy.
Fuck you for knocking out Weidman.
Yeah, I don't
That
want
was
to
a
see
crazy
Brock.
kick.
I don't want to see Brock back again. UFC 200. I didn't think it was that good.
I haven't
No,
seen.
a lot of
I didn't
guys-
watch that
I'm-
fight.
So many injuries.
Brock.
I'm
so
kind of
many-
sad I paid for that, to be honest.
Oh,
But we did. The Domino's was good.
The pizza.
that was better than the
It
fight.
was Pizza Hut, but a little backstory. We called Pizza Hut wanting some dinner boxes, and I don't know how, but they ran out of dinner boxes.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
I think they ran out of the shape to form the pizza. I don't know how the hell
And
you
they
do
didn't
that.
give us our wings.
Oh, they
Well, that's
forgot.
some
They
bullshit.
forgot
That's
the
fucked up.
wings.
Yeah.
It was terrible. So it was damn near. I mean, we did order it late, but it was a Saturday. I think we ordered it at 10 o'clock.
I mean, that's when the
And
fight
it didn't
started.
come till
Yeah.
11:30.
Yes, so
12 o'clock.
it was
Fight's
terrible
almost over.
service.
That's right.
That's why we mess with Domino's over here.
Contact us if you want to give us discount. We won't say anything bad.
Oh, wait, you-
we'll talk highly of you after.
Pizza Hut is so weird.
Oh, let's not jump on Pizza Hut. It's not the time.
Yeah. But any more
Brock
to say
Lesnar.
about that topic? Or
I don't
should we
need to
move
see him
on?
back in Octagon
Yeah,
ever
yeah.
again.
See him in WWE.
He was a sensation when he was there in the beginning.
He was an undeserving champion too. I think he like one fight he won.
Yeah. yeah
Randy
it-
Couture.
it's
He
all. It's
pushed
all
him
name.
hard.
Frankie,
All right,
yeah.
sorry, but it's the same thing they did with Connor. It's name value. He got a name, so they're gonna give him as much opportunities as possible.
I feel like Connor earned it though.
He did get like 8 fights in.
Yeah.
And Brock jumped. But,
yeah,
but
yeah,
you
yeah.
must
That's what I'm
consider
talking about.
the heavyweights. There's not much to
but
jump.
Connor didn't
true.
get his name up till like he beat
Chad
Mendes.
Mendes.
Almost.
Yeah, I'll agree.
You know what I mean? So
But
like,
Chad Mendes was big time.
but as soon as Connor got his name up through his talk, I mean through his fighting as well, but through his talking, that's
love
what boosted him up another level. It wasn't. If he
gets
didn't,
people interested.
if he wasn't such a talker, he wouldn't have lost to Nate Diaz and still get a title shot right after. I mean, he
I would
did
say
win.
Connor got me back into the
I've
UFC.
known Connor since 2013. That's when I started.
You guys hang out and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh shit! How's Ireland?
I've
Yeah,
known-
serious.
As
known Connor
Jesse has a
so
McGregor
long.
shirt on.
Oh yeah, he
Oh
does.
yeah.
I've known Connor so long,
Oh,
and
Connor.
ever since Anderson Silva lost to Chris Weidman, I always knew who Conor was because I always tuned in to watch UFC, and when I watched him fight Max Holloway, because they fought a few years ago, that was the first time I heard of Conor, and what he performed against Max was very impressive. So
plus he had an injury, and another one. Speaking of it, yeah, he tore what?
His ACL.
ACL. I think that's a lot worse when it comes to pain.
He was out 11 months.
Shout out to Anthony Pettis.
Yeah, like what's up?
But I've known Conor a long time. Unlike a lot of people, Conor McGregor is the best. Yeah, what do you know him for? Oh, he won 2 belts. Yeah, who did he fight before that? Oh, I don't know.
That's all the casual UFC fans.
I'm not gonna get mad at them though. We need casual fans to grow.
Yeah, we don't want to alienate them.
You know, I'm not gonna say, "Oh, fuck you," you don't know shit.
Jump on the bandwagon.
Thanks.
I hate that shit.
Like that's not doing anything.
Yeah.
Nah, I completely understand where you're coming from. But speaking of another warrior in the octagon, we got Robbie Lawler rumored to might have a next opponent. What do you guys think about that one?
Against Nick Diaz.
Oh goodness!
Stockton slap.
Nick Diaz has to be one of the most befuddling gentlemen I've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
He like USADA calls him his hotel. They're trying to get piss tests. He says, "No, I'm trying to fucking go to sleep. No, I ain't trying to do a piss test right now."
This was recent?
It was like 3 months ago.
Yeah,
once he was cleared
ago.
to fight again. He said, "No, I'm trying to go to sleep. You see what they fucking do to me?" It's like it's a 5-minute piss test. Get it fucking done. Like, oh my goodness.
You're getting
drink
too
some
much
water.
money to complain, man. I can never hear these sap stories from people that are getting so much. All these athletes that complain about pay or complain about rules. You are getting paid
to fight.
I don't get that privilege. I mean, I'm not as good as you, but you know what I mean? Just do what the hell you're told. You have a boss just like everybody else. You know what I mean?
Wasn't he high in one of those fights?
When he fought Takanori Gomi,
Yes.
he was fucking blasted.
Yeah.
Oh,
and that was one of the best fights. I'm telling you, that's arguably one of the best fights that I've seen.
Yeah.
He got rocked, crazily stunned. Mind you, he was high. And
Now, quick side note: do you think that affects you? Like, actually affects you in the ring?
I think it makes you more focused.
So,
if
have
want
you
me to be
smoked a
honest.
lot before?
Have you smoked? Jesse, have
No,
you?
I can't tell. I can't say from experience.
I'll
Does
be
it slow
honest.
your reflexes?
Yeah.
So that's
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not like he's doing cocaine where it'll sharpen everything.
Yeah,
It's-
like John Jones.
his pain tolerance went up, right?
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
could take more, obviously.
Yeah.
I feel like when he did it, he was more focused and
He did a go-go plata
Yeah.
high. I
don't
mean, go-go
get it.
plata is not often seen.
Yeah.
It's a variation of the omoplata, but towards the throat with your shin. It was awesome.
he's very high level black belt in jiu-jitsu.
They both are.
Yeah, they both are. So that fight, they did fight previously in the old UFC days.
Beautiful knockout.
Mind
by
you,
Nick.
Joe Rogan was still there. Right?
Yeah. That fight, I watched it a few months ago, and
Yeah, that's
the way, because I watched Nick Diaz hitting the pads backstage before the fight, and he said, "Oh, I'm gonna knock this motherfucker out." He had no power back then. I'm sorry, compared to what he is now.
I don't even think he has power now. I think it's the way he methodically throws his
agree.
punches. It's in bunches. The way he used to beat people in Strikeforce, I was a fan.
Yeah.
But he's
Yeah.
got to the UFC, and what is he?
Awful in
2?
Strikeforce.
He's only 2 victories, or
think so.
even at
BJ
that.
Penn or something like that, right?
BJ
Hey,
Penn.
BJ Penn.
Congrats.
To GSP.
It's,
bunch of guys.
He's had an odd career so far in the modern UFC.
His comeback to UFC.
Yeah. I think that
No
fight.
contest to Anderson.
I think that fight.
Well, that was a loss.
Robbie
still a
Lawler.
loss,
Yeah, no doubt.
Robbie Lawler has grown efficiently ever since that fight.
Robbie Lawler's great.
Yeah, he's pound for pound one of the best. And even though he did lose the belt to Tyron Woodley, he's still up there.
He'll never beat Tyron. I don't think.
No,
I don't think so.
He got rocked big time.
Athletically,
Tyron's one of my new favorites,
stylistically.
man.
No, I have much respect for him because he
Yeah,
just
me too.
contended and rocked one of the best strikers
Yeah,
in the game.
in the game.
Arguably beat him.
Yeah, I think
They'll
he won.
rematch it.
Well, I
but-
think what he did to Steven is enough for me to be like, yeah, you won.
Yeah.
You know?
He did win one judge, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would give, if Robbie Lawler and Nick Diaz do fight, that'll be amazing promotion. Nick Diaz, great trash talker, one of the best of all time, in my opinion.
He's retarded.
Yeah. I would give it to Robbie Lawler by knockout because he's ruthless for a reason. Robbie Lawler, knockout power. He's the better fighter. I would just give it to Robbie if they do fight.
It's if you watch Robbie Lawler face Roy McDonald, he got rocked.
Yeah.
He got rocked. And I feel like that can happen again against Nick Diaz because Nick Diaz will take anything you throw at him. But it could be fight of the night, fight of the year, fight of the decade.
It'll make for a great fight.
I hope it happens.
Nick, just like his brother, doesn't go down too often.
It should go. It should go down because wouldn't we have loved to see Donald Cerrone though?
I mean, who else does Nick have to fight? To be honest,
I mean,
Tyron Woodley for the title.
Oh no! We're not mentioning that. 'Cause
How does you lose 3 fights and you're gonna get a title fight?
how do you
That's
come
a
back from a
backwards ass slap.
suspension? Yeah, that doesn't
Why
make
does
sense.
Tyron Woodley want to fight him in the first place?
Yeah, he's been calling him out so many times.
He's
His
stupid.
name value, face value alone. maybe?
Every
He wants
time,
money,
every
Tyron.
time he calls out Nick Diaz, I start hating him again.
Yeah.
I really do. I have to see
I don't want to because I love him. I
He's
love
even
watching
called
him
out
fight.
GSP. Like, do you want to die? Like in the octagon, if you fight
He's
GSP,
taking forever to come back.
That'd be a good
You
fight.
think?
That would be
You
a good
think?
fight.
GSP would murder him
You think?
inside 2 rounds.
I don't see him stand-up wise, no.
No, but
Because
on
he
the
just
ground,
contended with Stephen Thompson.
GSP would kill him. I think so.
You think?
Yeah, he would ground him.
I don't
pound
think he
him.
could take him down, buddy.
Yeah,
It would be an interesting fight, though.
I don't know.
yeah, but I think it should happen. I just think Robbie would come up with another win.
Of course.
Yeah, Robbie's on a new level now. Well, he
Yeah,
was
he's
champion.
not the same one that he fought previously.
Beautiful knockout by Nick. That was perfect.
Oh, yeah, he landed a quick jab and
Yeah.
it stunned him.
That was great.
Steve Mazzagatti tried to wave it off. Robbie Lawler pops back up.
And then they
I wanna
continue fighting, yeah.
Yeah. He falls back down. Fucking
But
crazy fight.
our next topic, real quick, to cover it before we get into debates, which I might have some more questions for you guys after Louis just sent me a little text across the table.
They're so fucking sneaky because
Yeah.
the majority.
We're hiding
We
the
don't know
questions.
the questions.
We're hiding the questions from them, and I also thought of another one too.
Oh, really?
So
Oh,
we
great.
might have 5 and see how it goes. But we'll get to that. Just cover this real quick if you guys want. Paige Van Zandt.
Oh, yeah, she said she wanted to be in a Marvel movie.
I mean,
Louis is the movie buff here.
GSP wasn't Captain America, Winter Soldier.
He almost won. How you like that, baby?
Tyron Woodley was supposed to be in Spider-Man Homecoming, upcoming, but
was
he
in
turned
Straight
it down.
He was in Straight Outta Compton. Did you guys know that? Tyron
I heard about that.
Yeah, I
was.
saw him too. I
Yeah,
saw
he
him.
was.
And he was like in a party.
Somebody told me that.
And he's going to
It
be a
was
Fast
when-
8.
Yes. Yeah.
Really?
These UFC fighters, they're blowing up. I think
Yeah.
Hollywood likes them. Conor
Ronaldo.
McGregor's in Game of Thrones.
That's
so.
true. Yeah.
He's
And
gonna
in
be
Call of Duty.
Michael Bisping's in what is it?
Triple X.
Triple X.
Something
Yeah.
like
with
that.
Vin Diesel.
Sorry, I can't tell the difference now with the way they're marketing. But by the way, guys, if you're interested in movie talk, let us know. We might be doing be doing that as well. It'll be fun.
I'm seriously interested in it. Louis over here is the real movie buff. Christian knows his as well.
I know someone, not like these guys, but I could get
Jesse
opinions
knows
on
his
some
Fast and the Furious and Paul Walker real well.
yeah.
But
How about the
now
last
let's-
trailer?
Now let's get into this segment we are gonna call Red Corner, Blue Corner. Now, just to break it down to you guys, because the people listening and the 2 fighters as well, it's gonna be Chris and Jesse fighting. We got Chris in the red corner, Jesse in the blue corner. I know Jesse, you want a blue. You want a red, but maybe next time.
I like the red.
And what we're gonna do is we're gonna introduce a question, and we're gonna have 5 minutes. You guys are gonna have 5 minutes to argue it, and me and Louis will decide who won the question based off the argument. It's not gonna be based off. I mean, I'm not gonna ask you a subjective a
We
question.
can't
where
play
it's-
favorites.
I'm not gonna ask you a
Okay.
question like who's better, Conor or some random no-name fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
of course.
it's gonna be questions that you could argue, and it's gonna be based off of your arguments. It's gonna be really fun. We've done this in the NBA one, and now I want to introduce it here. It's red corner, blue corner. So, I mean, shake hands if you guys.
Right.
Tap gloves.
Touch
Tap
gloves.
gloves. What do you say? I want a clean fight. I want a clean. I don't know the rest.
Obey my commands.
Obey my commands at all times.
It's a work in progress. I think we should do that. That'll be pretty
I'm
cool.
cool with that.
Yeah.
But to get into the first topic, let me just get the rules clarified. They'll pick their first topic, and they'll have their own time to concise on each topic. They'll have their own time to speak on theirs, and then after that first minute or so, they'll start. You guys can start arguing, and whoever you say first, and try to get your response as quick as possible, and whoever you say first, you got to go with.
Okay.
Now, what if we both agree?
Whoever said it first gets that. So you
I
gotta
see.
go. You gotta go with the other.
Damn.
Other choice. All right. So let's start it off with the first question. We might do 3, or depending on the time. We might even hit 5. So let's start off with the first one. What UFC fighter needs to retire the most right now?
BJ Penn.
Okay. I have to take an opposing one now that he said BJ already.
Oh, I could have said another one now that I think about it.
Henderson.
But I like Penn.
You going with BJ?
Yeah. Do you want me to explain and then why you think?
And then cool? You hit your topic?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
start
BJ,
right now. Go.
BJ Penn, 16-10. He lost to Frankie Edgar 3 times. BJ Penn, he's been out of his prime for a very long time. He's 37 years old. BJ Penn stopped fighting. Who's he fighting? Yair Rodriguez. He has vicious kicks. He's going to get his ass cleaned by Yair Rodriguez. BJ Penn, every time he announces his fight, he's like, "Oh, I have the mentality of becoming better than I ever was." BJ Penn, you're just a joke. I'm sorry, you're a legend in the sport, but you will never be as good as you were. I know you were a lightweight champion. I know you're a welterweight champion of the world. You beat Matt Hughes, one of my favorites. BJ Penn, I really think you should retire. You're a legend in the sport. Be happy. You have all the money in the world. You know what I mean? So you're a Hall of Famer. Just call it a career, because right now you need to stop fighting. You're hurting yourself more and more training and post fights.
All right, Christian, you got yours?
All right. So I know it's probably gonna stir a few heads once I say the name, but I'm gonna try and make my counterpoint. Anderson Silva. Now,
okay.
Now my counterpoint simply is that BJ Penn obviously is one of the best at his time, but it's arguable that Anderson is one of the best that's ever stepped in to any kind of combat sport. He has a lot to lose each time he loses, and he's already lost 3 in a row. If you count, the no contest with Nick Diaz. So that would be like 4 in a row. 2 to Weidman, that fight, and then Daniel Cormier won. And I just don't want him to tarnish his record, because I see these new fighters coming up and they're being renounced as the best of all time. But I feel like your legacy is truly decided on the way you finish, as well as what you're remembered by. And I feel like if Anderson keeps losing and on this path, it's going to tarnish his reputation. It's going to tarnish sometimes I forget that he was renounced as one of the best fighters of all time because of his performances now. And I think he has far more to lose than BJ Penn, because he's like 16-11. He's lost enough. Yeah. He's lost enough, I think. And I think he's a prime example of why you should give up before it gets to that point. I think BJ's beyond. I think he's beyond that point. Yeah, BJ is. He's way past that. He's lost his greatest of all time. I don't even think he was that good now that you view it. Sorry, I just hit his laptop because I like to use hand motions as I'm talking. And Anderson Silva's right on the peak of beginning to tarnish his legacy. And you can give him credit for what happened with Chris Weidman the second time, but even he was losing that fight even. So argue. Okay,
I'm gonna counter. One, I still believe Anderson Silva can still fight, even though he is 3 years older than BJ Penn. Anderson Silva's 40 years old. In my opinion, he did beat Michael Bisping. The way that fight was very close fight. It was in England, so they did have Michael Bisping's side in that fight, in my opinion. Because look at Michael Bisping and Dan Henderson. In my opinion, Dan Henderson wins that fight because look at Bisping's face. The fight was in England. He keeps the belt. But going back to my BJ Penn decision here, I just feel like BJ Penn needs to stop fighting more than Anderson Silva ever does, because Anderson Silva wants to get his belt back. Ever since he broke his leg, ever since he got knocked out by Chris Weidman in the first fight, he always said, "Oh, I'm getting that belt back no matter what, nothing's stopping me." And the way the middleweight division is now, look who has the belt. It's Michael Bisping. You know what I mean? So, in my opinion, Anderson Silva beat him. Anderson Silva is the 7th-ranked fighter in the middleweight division, so yeah, it'd be a tough road to climb, and he's lost the last 4 fights of his career, including the no contest to Nick Diaz, but I believe BJ Penn, he has more, he needs to retire more than Anderson Silva, because I believe Anderson Silva still has it, but look at BJ Penn, he hasn't won. When's the last time he won a fight? You know what I mean? It's been a few years. And I know it's been a few years since Anderson Silva, but I still believe Anderson Silva still has that side in him where he can win a fight.
All right, Christian?
All right, final note. I would say, and I think I'm not going to ask for opinion because that'll be tarnishing the judges, but I believe that if Michael Jordan closed out his career with that final victory and against the Utah Jazz and didn't come back, I believe his legacy would be beyond even what it is now.
Oh, of course.
And I feel like if Anderson Silva, he should stop. I feel like if he loses, it's just going to tarnish it further and further. And BJ's not renounced as one of the best of all. I mean, the best of all time, as Anderson is.
Yeah.
I feel like his career is far more delicate at this point. He's 40 years old. He's older than BJ Penn. So, yeah, clearly he should retire based on age as well. You see what happens. I mean, luckily Dan Henderson got a title shot, but I don't know why. And the final note, because we're at the 5-minute mark, Anderson Silva has far more to lose reputation-wise than BJ, in my opinion.
I'll agree.
All right. End of that round. It was a really strong argument for both of you guys.
Yeah, it was strong, I would say.
Christian gave the really good point of...
when you said Anderson Silva, I was like, fuck. I should have said that.
I don't mean to sound biased because he's my brother, but I like the Michael Jordan point you brought up.
Yeah.
I think that won it for you.
Yeah, he had the argument where it was... Basically, you want to end off on the best note possible, but then you did come back with it.
Yeah, it was really strong. What
Not
you still
has it.
Unlike BJ Penn, he still has it.
Yeah.
He did knock Bisping down.
Yeah,
if
he would have paid attention, he probably would have finished it.
The Bisping argument did bring you back into it, but then Christian just sealed the deal with the Jordan.
Yeah, I like the Jordan.
To be honest, I thought you were going to say Vitor.
Yeah, that was
easy.
that was
I thought he
a
was
very
going to be
good.
risky and say like Conor McGregor or something.
I was going to say, fun fact, I was going to say Anthony Pettis.
But that was a very good argument.
Yeah, that was
but
a
yeah,
good one.
Christian got the first one. Now I want to see.
Oh boy,
I want to see this next one.
That was a good argument. I like
Good on you.
Round 2. Who did more for this sport, Conor or Floyd Mayweather?
Oh, goodness.
Conor.
You got to argue Floyd then, Jess.
You should have jumped on that. He's wearing this shirt.
I started now. Go ahead.
You can go first.
Well, we got to base it based on. You can't lie. Boxing was great even before Floyd Mayweather came in. You had the greats like Muhammad Ali. You had even further than Rocky Marciano.
Sugar Ray Leonard.
And then you had Oscar
Robert
De La
Durant.
Hoya. You know, they had stars. They will have stars. Boxing still sells. And I do see the numbers. You definitely can argue 300 million. But if you base it per capita almost in a sense, you have to realize where the UFC was and where it is now is beyond what Floyd did. Floyd brought money, but Conor's you bring in fame, he's bringing eyes to the sport. And I feel if you base it not on the prices, because again, there's a significant, you have to base it on like inflation and things like that when it comes to the amount of money the UFC produces in boxing. So I would say Conor is far more important to MMA as a whole. Fuck just, UFC, MMA as a whole.
Now, is the question, like, as of right now?
No, who done more for this sport in general?
In general.
Yes.
I'm actually glad I didn't say Conor because Floyd Mayweather, undefeated boxer, 49-0. He was in boxing for 20 years. He took home $100 million cash from the night he fought Floyd. Wow, Floyd. Manny Pacquiao.
That'd be a fight, wouldn't it?
And then he took home another $200 million through the pay-per-views and everything else.
That's crazy.
Damn.
That fight is the biggest pay-per-view fight of all time, of course. There's rumors that Floyd and Conor will obviously are talking about fighting. Maybe that'll break the record, but who knows? Because if you think about it, when you talk about who Floyd would make that fight 3 million times better than it was. If Conor would fight Floyd Money Mayweather, if Conor would fight another fighter, he makes a lot of pay-per-view money with Eddie Alvarez, Nate Diaz, Jose Aldo, but if he fought Floyd Mayweather, that pay-per-view buy would go through the roof. So what I'm trying to say here is, without Floyd Mayweather, Conor in a boxing ring, that fight wouldn't be anything. Because if Conor goes against, I don't know, Andre Ward, that fight wouldn't be bigger pay-per-view wise. That's what I'm trying to say. But Floyd Mayweather, I believe he did more in the state of boxing because he was 49-0 for a reason. He has a lot of pay-per-view buys in his career. He's taken home a lot of money with all the fights he's fought in his career. He's made more money than Conor will in his career. No offense. And like I said, Conor, he has 3 losses on his career. Floyd has none. So that's my argument there.
Well, now that you speak of losses, it's quite easy in a one-dimensional sport to use what you're good at and simply stay on the ropes and nod your head every time someone throws a good combination in order to diminish when the judges are watching, in order to diminish their combination. And I think Floyd does that well. So I would award the overall difficulty of the sport far to Conor McGregor because, there's so many ideas and things to implement. And losing plays a factor, there's no doubt. You can argue that Floyd went to UFC, even with the training, even with jiu-jitsu, he won't be undefeated. I don't care what anybody says. No fighter will be. Habib will lose one day. I brought that up. Disregard that. But Conor right now, especially, and you see him on these daily shows, you see him on the overnight shows. Yeah, he's truly blowing up, and I feel like the position the UFC was in, even like say in 1993, you see Royce Gracie, the rise of Jiu-Jitsu, then it transitions into the modern era in the 2000s, where you have Randy Couture, Chuck Liddell. If you measure those numbers, especially in the pay-per-views, and then you compare it to what Conor has done, even I feel he's a bigger presence than Ronda Rousey is, and most people argue that.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah, most people argue that Ronda is bigger. But, Conor's absolutely blown up. He's already featured in video games. He's going to be in Game of Thrones, which is a great achievement in itself. And I feel like that's one thing Floyd hasn't implemented. He's been in WWE. He punched Big Show. He actually punched Big Show, breaking his nose, if I'm not mistaken.
Man, of course. He always will be.
Just finish your last thoughts.
I would say the overall media presence definitely goes to Conor McGregor. When it comes to likability, I would say that too.
All right, Jesse?
My last point here, I just feel like Floyd is the better person in this argument because he's done more in the state of his own sport. Because if you think about it, boxing and MMA are completely two different sports. So this is kind of a tough debate here because it's two different sports. But at the end of the day, I think Floyd takes home a hell of a lot more money. He has the better career. He hasn't lost. He's done so much for boxing more than Conor ever will in the UFC. That's what I have to say.
Do I get one or not?
You can say it, but I already got my decision. So
okay, all right. Well,
I think that clearly goes to Christian, just because you kept saying that he done more for boxing, but you didn't say what it was.
Well, I just feel like he made more money for boxing, and I really couldn't. I should have said Conor.
Yeah.
How bad did that hurt?
You focus on how much money he made. It's on what he did for his sport. Yeah. And what I thought is, you could have said that McGregor is not going to top the buys that he did with Pacquiao.
Yeah.
You could have said that
I did say that.
But
he said Floyd against Floyd.
Yeah, you said something of those sorts, but you never said how it's. Yeah. And I also think you should have mentioned how when he left, the sport died.
Went down.
Oh yeah.
That would have been a great argument.
Yeah.
And maybe then, and Christian just came with really good points. He's on daily shows now.
Movies.
Video game.
Yeah, video games, and he brung in new fans in.
Yeah.
And
I think Chris won easy.
Yeah. I'm not.
Fuck me.
We
it must hurt wearing the Conor shirt saying Floyd.
I know, right?
We have more than enough time to hit up 3 more questions. I was only expecting 3 in general, but
it's a full 5-round title fight.
Yep. The first fight is the title fight, but so let's.
I got knocked out in the knockdown.
He got put down in the second round.
Yeah, that round you definitely got knocked down. The first round was 10-9.
No, that was
that'd be cool. A scorecard at the end,
right?
We're all thinking this is still a work in progress. That wouldn't be a bad idea. I like
that's
that.
Pretty cool.
So that was a 10-8 round with Christian.
Yeah, no doubt.
And I would also like if maybe we would talk about it at the end, the result.
Okay.
Keep the suspicion. Keep the suspense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Per round, you just put your scorecard.
Say
a word.
Who won?
And then at the end, we talk.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds cool.
We're formulating this idea, guys.
So definitely let us know what you think about the format and everything of that sort.
Yeah.
But now to the third question. Who is the worst fighter in MMA that people consider a Hall of Famer?
Randy Couture.
Oh my goodness. What was the question?
Who is the worst fighter that people consider a Hall of Famer in MMA?
Oh my goodness. Can we repeat?
Yeah, you can repeat.
You can go first. I have to think about
Alright, no
this
problem.
one.
Whenever you're ready, Chris.
Okay, so Randy Couture, I know people are going to argue that he's a 2-division champion, but you also have to look at the longevity of the time he's held the titles. But he does get respect for I'm gonna say, you know, what he did well, obviously, because I know he will. Because the heavyweight division, he was I believe he won it 2 or 3 times, the heavyweight title.
I think he won it twice.
But again, this was during the modern era, during the time where the fighters weren't as evolved as they are now. And you truly noticed that when fighters like Chuck Liddell came in, they started knocking him out. And again, Randy Couture does have a victory over Chuck Liddell, but that has far changed since they fought. Again, and Randy Couture has a lousy record. I believe it's like 16-10. Again, it's another one similar to BJ Penn's. And I mean, he's been fighting. He's looked old since he began fighting. And I feel like oftentimes, especially Joe Rogan, renounces him as Captain America, or as an immediate Hall of Famer, one of the best of all time, but with a lousy record like that. And I feel like his only true ability is his clinch. He's a Greco-Roman wrestler. But overall, I feel like he didn't have the tools, and he would never have the tools to ever. If, say, even his son, Ryan Couture, competed, and he's not that good. I feel like, and his wife competed. They all suck. The whole family sucks. I often feel like he has his own clothing brand. I feel like, you know, the legacy he's created with that name is far surpasses what he was in the octagon, in my opinion.
Okay, Jesse.
Since we could repeat here, I'll go with BJ Penn again. Like you said, 16-10 record. You could really argue the point where he shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame because of his record and how many times he did lose the belt and how many times he lost to Frank Yeager, which was 3 times. And the fact that he wants to keep continuing to fight isn't really making his career any better. So I think BJ Penn is a Hall of Famer, but in this argument, you could really argue that BJ Penn shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame because of his record. Somewhat of his accomplishments were a little gassed, in my opinion. So, and when he did face good competition, like Frankie Edgar, and other guys, he just didn't. He kept losing the belt. He didn't really have. Fuck, this is tough. He didn't really face good competition where he can compete at a high level to contend or beat anyone for the belt. Like, he did lose the GSP twice. I'm trying to think here. Frankie Yeager 3 times, GSP twice. So I don't think BJ Penn should be in the Hall of Fame because he did lose to very high-level contenders in welterweight, lightweight, middleweight. He fought at all divisions. In my opinion. So it's very tough for him to argue that he should be in the Hall of Fame because his record is lousy, in my opinion.
All right, Chris.
All right, so in comparison, if I had to compare the two, I think, well, I'm going to say BJ Penn has far more tools. I mean, the guy's a freak in jiu-jitsu. He got his black belt in three years when it usually takes like almost a doctorate's degree, like 8 or 12 to get your black belt, depending on where you are. He got it in 3 years. His boxing has always been prime. He beat up Kenny Florian, who's a great analyst right now, and he was even a good fighter when he was. And he beat up Diego Sanchez, and Diego Sanchez is still fighting today, and he's got a great record with like another one similar to Donald Cerrone's. So I feel like BJ is far more competent. Overall skill set wise, Randy Couture is a generational fighter. He has no if you translate BJ Penn's skills to any fighter now, that'd be a fucking beast. It just happens that BJ is very inconsistent with his weight, especially, and his determination when it comes to fighting. But I think Randy Couture's fighting style is something that is generational, and he's known for the cage and brawl. Like, he'll hug you on the cage and keep you tight in the clinch, oftentimes grabbing the rear neck and striking you with the uppercuts and knees. So I feel like his fighting skills isn't timeless like BJ's is. And BJ was a freak athlete. I mean, he could jump off the pool from the 3 feet. And these are attributes that Randy Couture never had and never will. And I feel like he truly doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame.
Okay, well, how much more time do I have?
Just make your final point.
Okay, I think, because I disagree with you with Randy Couture not being in the Hall of Fame. One, he did win the belt when he was 45 years old again, and BJ Penn's obviously not that old. BJ Penn hasn't won a fight in a few years now. Like I said previously, he doesn't win against good competition. And Randy Couture in the heavyweight division, yeah, it's lousy. and all that. So he did lose against Brock Lesnar, but he did win the belt when he was 45 years old, or 46, if I'm not mistaken. So you don't really see a fighter like that win a belt that old in MMA. And he did have 16 wins. 16-10, it's a pretty decent record in the heavyweight division.
But who did he beat? Tim Sylvia?
Yeah.
And where's Tim Sylvia?
Okay,
I think that's gonna wrap it up. Jesse, if you, hypothetically speaking, if this was a UFC fight, you would go in your corner right now, and this is gonna be the moment. this is gonna be the moment where in your corner, the coaches really start like swaying and
throw the white towel.
You gotta knock him out in this round. I write down points, and I got Christian like winning like 7-2. So just to keep it in perspective, I mean, you gave a good argument, and I think you should have.
Randy Couture is 19-11.
Oh,
so
that was actually better.
Yeah. So you could have branched on the argument that he's old and he still kept up with the competition where BJ Penn couldn't. Mm-hmm. I think if you would have done that, maybe,
BJ Penn faced harder opponents. I think you could.
You
nailed that one.
You fell flat a lot with a lot.
I fought one time. He's like, oh shit.
Yeah, I don't like the confidence.
I said, oh fuck, this is tough.
Yeah.
All right, so this is gonna be a top.
BJ Penn is 16-10.
Yeah.
Should we save your topic for last as a little fun one?
Yeah, it should be a little fun one.
Over. All right, so this topic actually came up with on the spot because you guys were talking about it earlier, so let's do it now. Who would win in a fight as of now? Tyron Woodley or GSP?
GSP.
Tyron. That's fine. I'm glad he took that.
Now,
should be good.
Jesse, you gonna go first?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Go ahead.
Okay, GSP. One of the best UFC fighters of all time. All around, he's a black belt in karate, black belt in jiu-jitsu. His wrestling is amazing. Tyron Woodley, I don't think he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. His wrestling is very good, I'll admit that. But to take down GSP, I extremely doubt he would even lay a hand on one of GSP's legs and try and take him down. So I don't know what Tyron Woodley could do on the ground there. He would definitely get his ass kicked on the feet. Even GSP is a very good grappler. When he fought Nick Diaz, who's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, for the belt, when GSP was on the ground with Nick Diaz, and Nick Diaz was trying to sweep, he was trying to roll and trying to get to GSP's back. GSP he's a very intelligent fighter. When Nick Diaz was going for the sweeps and the rolls and all that, GSP defends all of that amazingly well. He's a very good fighter. His ground game would completely dominate Tyron Woodley if they went to the ground. His ground and pound is probably the best ground and pound, arguably, in the UFC when he did fight. He would definitely, if Tyron Woodley doesn't go to the ground, GSP would definitely knock him out. His karate's unbelievable. His boxing's unbelievable. That's about it. Chris, you go.
I never fall for this. GSP one time renounced the best striker he sparred with, and guess what the name was? Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Ooh. And what happened in the result when Tyron Woodley and Stephen Wonderboy Thompson won? Arguably, Tyron won. He landed that right hand. He essentially he implemented his game plan. Took down Stephen Thompson, pounded him out in the first round, bloodied him up, and this was a fighter that GSP renounced as one of the best strikers he's faced against and sparred with. So I feel like GSP's stand-up would immediately be mediated from that point because I feel like Tyron Woodley's already sparred, and plus he trains with Sage Northcutt, who's a high-level black belt, which we've proven helped in his training with Stephen Thompson. And when it comes to GSP's kryptonite, I think most of us know that GSP's kryptonite is a wrestler who has a good overhand right. His name was Johnny Hendricks. His name was Johnny Hendricks, and he struggled in that fight, and you can argue that GSP won. But I see it otherwise. I see Johnny Hendricks won, and I feel like GSP's toughest opponents are those who can stuff the takedown and land the overhand right. And with the physique as huge as Tyron motherfucking Woodley. He's never fucking GSP's never taken him down. GSP has been in talks of cutting the lightweight before and taking down Habib. And if you can cut the lightweight, then that means that again, he hasn't fought in the USADA era, so that can mean that he can be off anything he was on before, and he can be a lot smaller when facing Tyron Woodley. I feel like the size advantage is too much for GSP. The overhand right would clean him up, considering that Matt Serra, who's like 5'4", 5'5", knocked him the fuck out coming off the Ultimate Fighter.
I completely disagree with everything you just said. GSP, like I said, you really don't think GSP would take Tyron Woodley down? Really? I don't think so. Tyron Woodley, I don't know his stats because we don't have our phones or laptops or anything, but GSP, I don't understand why people underestimate GSP's ground game. If GSP gets a hold of Tyron Woodley, it's over. His ground game is so lethal. His ground and pound would end Tyron Woodley. Tyron Woodley would never come back into the UFC if he fought GSP. Tyron Woodley's been calling out GSP for a few months now, and I understand why, because it would be a big money fight for Tyron Woodley, because GSP retired a few years ago. But GSP would murk Tyron Woodley. He'd be the huge favorite in that fight. Tyron Woodley would be a huge underdog. Honestly, it would be, comparing it to the other argument, it would be like Conor McGregor coming into a boxing ring against Floyd Mayweather. That's how big that fighting odd would be. GSP would have a huge advantage in that fight. He would take Tyron Woodley down. On the feet, he would destroy Tyron Woodley. That overhand right, with GSP's movement when he in his prime, he wouldn't be touched. He could go.
Thanks.
just letting you know, you guys could like interrupt each other's argument. And
I don't want to be rude.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's a fight. Alright, so I mean, starting the next one, you could do that just because he didn't
know
show
that.
off. But yeah, just to let you guys know.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the second half of the argument.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is that again, GSP has beaten fighters significantly smaller than him, involving Thiago Alves, involving Matt Hughes, involving Matt Serra, a second time BJ Penn. You know, these are fighters that are significantly smaller than him, don't have the same muscle ratio, muscle depth. And when you compare the modern welterweight, because he also beat Carlos Condit, but Carlos is skinny too. If you compare the modern welterweight to what he was fighting before, I mean, these guys walk around 220, 210. And I feel like Tyron Woodley is just too damn big to be taken down. He has that overhand right. Okay. That's fine, but he struggled against Johnny Hendricks, who is smaller than Tyron Woodley. And I think Tyron Woodley is significantly faster when it comes to, especially his explosivity, is on another level. His ability to... His Muay Thai is far better than Johnny Hendricks. His ability to close distance is unlike many, and his athletic ability is something I haven't seen in the MMA. He's one of those fighters that are coming in that I believe the future will hold, like Sage Northcutt, like Tyron Woodley, of athletic ability, which GSP was once, but I don't believe the athletic ability is on the same level anymore.
All right, Louis, that was closer. That was a close one. Why do you think of your decision? Because I'll actually take it into, it's not as one-sided as it was the last time. Jesse, you do take a lot of times, and you do take a lot of time in saying, you argued him on, and you're like, oh, you really think he'll take him down, but you should go deeper into it. That's wasting time. And also, you say a lot of things like, oh, he'll do this and he'll do that. But I don't think he'll just go more in depth, I would say.
I wish we could have our phones.
Yeah, and that's one of the challenges, that we didn't let him have our phones. But yeah, I actually got it really close, just within like 1 point. But Louis, what you got? Who you picked?
I think Tyron will win. I got
But
Christian.
no, yeah, I was gonna say you can't choose.
Yeah, no, off argument.
No, I think Christian. I like the argument there. I feel like what he said with Johnny Hendricks and GSP being knocked out by little guys like that.
Yeah, he had the little
boy.
Honestly, what hurts you last is if you could have countered the Johnny Hendricks argument, that would have.
No, I agree. Johnny Hendricks beat GSP.
No, if you would have countered that, like
GSP
he still could
wrestling
handle that
is
style,
tough.
even though Johnny Hendricks had his weight
GSP
with him.
still did take him down in that fight, but Johnny Hendricks was a smaller fighter.
But I think that argument kind of solidified it for Christian, in my opinion.
I'm just getting smoked.
Yeah. I mean,
well, I am the analyst. Yeah.
I
feel like
I
spend a lot of time. This is Christian advantage.
I spend a lot of time watching pointless videos saying, "Oh, the spatial movement here creates the." You know,
I know my MMA, but these questions they're tough.
Yeah, they are on the spot too. I mean, I
get
did
an easy
NBA
one. We gotta get a fun one.
Yeah.
And
we should get a fun. Like, who would you rather fuck with?
Oh no.
We have a fun one right now for you guys. That inquires no MMA knowledge at all.
So I'm going for the full on knockout.
All right, yeah. Well, you have no chance. I'm gonna be honest.
Some judge.
No, Christian won every round. If we had the scorecard thing, maybe. But as far as the implement, we haven't implemented that yet. So let's introduce our last question.
I did like the confidence that he said no with the Tyron and GSP.
And
he was
just
like,
so
nope.
you guys know, you guys can interrupt each other.
Okay, no.
And this is going to be a fun argument.
Wait. Oh no. That has to do.
I want to hear. I want to hear what you guys would say. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Oh God, here we go.
Who is dumber, Nate or Nick?
Nate.
I would say Nick. So you can have Nate. That's great.
All right, Jesse. Time is on you.
Nate Diaz, you can't even count to 5, man. I'm sorry. After he fought Conor, did you see the press conference when he was smoking the what's it called, the
vape pen?
The vape pen, and there was rumors that there was weed in the pen, and he got tested, and there was nothing illegal in it. But how dumb can you be? Just have a regular press conference and talk about the fight that you lost. Which another point is, Nate Diaz really think he beat Conor. I don't understand what 3 rounds he beat Conor in. So I don't understand how. I know he has a lot of confidence in himself, and his record is 20-11. I mean, that's somewhat. I'll give him. It's a pretty good record in the lightweight division. But he has too much confidence in himself, I'm sorry. And he always says that Nick Diaz is the best fighter in the world, blah, 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 blah. And I'll argue that Nick Diaz is one of the best welterweights of all time, in my opinion. Because 26-9 is a very, very good record in the welterweight division. But Nate Diaz, he has so much confidence in himself. He always does dumb things to get him in trouble. On Instagram, he posts pictures of him and his brother smoking weed. You're gonna get popped. And he's like Nick Diaz has gotten called by USADA before. Nate Diaz has turned down USADA visits too, and I just feel like he's the more dumb brother, if that makes sense, because he has more confidence in himself than Nick Diaz does. He does dumber shit than Nick Diaz by smoking at press conferences, leaving press conferences, and so forth.
Now, you suggest that Nate is dumb because of the post-fight, but how stupid is it to be high as fuck while you're fighting in Japan? Now that's pretty fucking stupid, if you ask me. Now, further to that, he's had this issue with USADA, and he's been so fucking stubborn. You can catch him on video refusing to take piss tests because he wants to go to sleep. But and not only that, but he's been called out by numerous fighters from the champion down. Michael Bisping, 2 champions called him out, wanted to fight him, and he hasn't responded. That's pretty fucking stupid. When you have the opportunity to take a title fight, you take it, especially when the champion wants you. I feel like his overall lapse in the game, especially with the issues he's been going through, and just like his brother, I mean, he posts pictures of himself smoking as well. I feel like he turned out to be the dumber one, although he had the more successful career. Nate Diaz's numbers don't lie. I mean, the numbers he's been made because he's been blessed by the McGregor. The McGregor Pope has a far different than the numbers that Nick Diaz has. And that's mainly due to Nick Diaz's fault for not accepting fights, such as Tyron Woodley calling him out, Michael Bisping calling him out. I don't recall, but there were plenty of other fights down the list that were called out for him that he hasn't responded to because he's a fucking idiot. Sorry.
I just feel like Nate is the dumber brother. He's learned it from Nick. You know what I mean? So he takes part from Nick being the older brother, and he follows what he learns from his brother.
So Nick must be pretty stupid, then, right?
Nick is pretty dumb, but I feel like Nate is the dumber person, in my opinion, because
this is so fucked up.
This is a good question. But
this shit makes me think, man.
Nate is just the dumber fighter.
This is your best fight, so maybe you should pass. But keep going.
Nate is the dumber fighter because I believe he has way more confidence in himself than Nick does. So like I said before, so that's pretty much my last point.
Also, with media presence, ever since he defeated Conor McGregor, he was on the Conan O'Brien show, I believe a few other late nights, and he's been handling the media obligations quite well. Unlike his fucking brother, when he was scheduled to fight GSP, he wouldn't show up to press conferences. He's very erratic when it. You shouldn't say that. He was very erratic.
Lost.
You were giving up a fight. Keep going.
He was very erratic when it comes to his presence in the media. When I think Nate, the younger brother, who was taught by the stupider brother, in my opinion, that he handled it far well. And again, handling his money, he's making a lot more than his brother. Nick Diaz is currently relying on his income in order to pay the USADA bill.
That's true.
Jesse, you can keep going. We got a minute left on the clock. You good?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another L for you.
He tapped out.
Yeah, you Jesse tapped. It was actually really close until Jesse kind of gave up. But I guess
I thought so too.
Honestly,
I thought maybe you should have
point,
mentioned the whole thing about Nate trying to follow Conor all the time. That could have been like that stupid.
Well, Conor is the money fight.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just you brought up you took a decent amount of time concerned about records, and that doesn't matter right now. We're talking about how stupid Nick Diaz is. So it doesn't really, you don't have to bring up Nick Diaz's record in that case. You know what I mean? That's really not a conversation. And Christian's point, and because you said that Nate Diaz learned from Nick, and so I gave you a point for that. And then as soon as you said that, Christian was like, "Well, Nick must be pretty stupid," so I gave the point right back to him.
I like what he said about GSP and the Nick Diaz fights. That how Nate has been around all the talk media obligations.
Yeah,
and you said Nate didn't even show up. That's pretty stupid.
That was a good point.
The thing is, the only reason why he handled it so well was because he won. When he loses, he doesn't want to do anything with the media.
Plus, he beat Conor.
Okay.
That's pretty smart.
Yeah. Okay.
But
that's a good point. You should have brought it up.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean,
that's a win. That was a good one right there.
That was the first installment of this new series, Red Corner, Blue Corner, and I thought it was good. I think that definitely has to be good.
Unanimous decision victory.
Yeah,
unanimous.
My face is rearranged.
And I mean, it's early, but Christian's the champion. I mean, I don't.
As a champion, I get to fucking choose who goes next.
All right, I'm down for whenever. Lou, I'll battle you right now. To be honest. I'm serious. We can cut this podcast off and record another one. I'm with it.
Damn.
I'm with it.
We should get Jesus on it too.
But yeah, this is going to be a continuing series where if maybe it's a slow news day or something, we could bring this up. And maybe not in general. We could just do this. Have some episodes about it. You guys, how did you guys feel about that?
I liked it. Even though I got my ass whooped.
Yeah, it is scary. I mean,
fun.
I got a little point system, but yeah, definitely. I think we're gonna do a scorecard next time for sure.
Yeah, scorecard sounds.
So I mean,
that's very fun.
We could turn this mic off and get a new segment going right now, Lou, and I got it.
Oh no!
I'm with it. So I guess you guys, by the time this is up, you guys would know if we would know if we did or did not. So this is gonna be the end of this segment. This episode, I'm sorry, and just a little. It was supposed to be a quick episode, but we kind of extended time.
What was it, 5-minute round?
5 questions.
Yeah, it's just a little fun episode for you guys. It's a little treat that we're off college, so enjoy and recommend and follow and subscribe and share and do all that fun stuff. You guys got anything else?
I won't be back. I'm taking an 8-month layoff. I got my ass.
You gonna get hit with the Misha Tate this soon? Damn, bro. You're owing, and we are gonna keep track of records. By the way, we got Christian at 1-0 and Jesse at 0-1. Maybe we got a little ranking system going. We got a lot going with this segment.
I gotta hit the gym. I didn't prepare.
Definitely, if you like this, just go share us, give us a like too, and I think we're good. We're out.
Peace.
Vasily Lomachenko.
Time.